What is up, everybody? Andy Herman here with a immediate reaction video to Green Bay's two selections in the second round. Javon Bullard at safety, Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker. How can you not be romantic about football? I know maybe a little bit of frustration, angst, underwhelming feeling from the first round, going obviously with Jordan Morgan at offensive tackle, guard, whatever he ends up being. Right now he's listed as a tackle. This is what Green Bay does. I talked about this yesterday. They're taking the home run swing in the first round, and then they attack needs aggressively with guys that are going to be able to come in and play right away and fill some of those spots in day two. And they did that in an aggressive way, in a beautiful way, and getting two big-time players who should theoretically be able to start at linebacker across from Quay Walker and at safety across, obviously, from Xavier McKinney. These are two perfect fits. I think the really interesting thing about Gutekunst so far is he told us exactly what he was going to do in three very different interview answers. I asked him specifically about offensive tackles. What about these big guys, these Guytons and the Mims and so on and so forth, Latham? And he said, yes, tall, big, fast, all great, but we like versatile guys. And we like guys that can move around and, can play maybe guard and tackle and left side, right side. Who does that remind you of? Jordan Morgan. He basically told us, and I kid you not, I swear to you, as soon as he answered that question in my mind, I'm like, he's explaining Jordan Morgan. When he talked to us, or when he talked to the media, I should say, at the NFL meetings, he was asked about linebacker. And he was asked, do you want a strong side linebacker, a Mike? Do you want a weak side linebacker? He's like, no. And I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, but you have two nickel linebackers, and you have to be able to do everything. We don't want somebody that's going to be a run defender. We don't want somebody that's going to be a pass defender. We need somebody who can do everything. They're not looking for a complement to Quay. They're looking for another Quay. And that's exactly what they got in Edgerrin Cooper. There are flaws in his game. He's going to struggle sometimes like Quay with taking on blocks and that level of hardcore physicality that if you're looking for somebody like a Frankie Louvu who's just going to, punch a guard in the face when he's pulling. I'm not being serious, obviously, but if you're looking for that type of intensity and physicality, you're not going to get that out of Cooper. But you get an instinctual linebacker who can fly sideline to sideline, who can make all the reads, all the plays. I talked about this on the live chat. There's a play that he makes in a screen where he, completely reads it, makes two offensive linemen miss, and does a shoestring tackle on the running back. His game against Alabama is unbelievable. I think he had 3 sacks in that game. He played really well against tough competition. And you go out and you get that guy who can do a little bit of everything. They didn't ask him to cover a lot at Texas A&M, but he looked very comfortable in his drops. He did a great job of keeping his eyes on quarterbacks and getting in those passing lanes. He's going to start right away next to Quay Walker. And again, Goody told us exactly what he was looking for. At safety, he was asked about it in a press conference this week. He was asked, what are you looking for in safety? I think he was actually maybe talking about Cooper DeJean a little bit too in this sort of description. But he said, we're not looking for somebody who is going to be a box safety. We're not looking for somebody who's just going to be a two-high safety or a post safety. They wanted somebody who could do everything. And he even included playing in the slot in that discussion. And immediately, once again, I'm like, that's Javon Bullard. They're not looking for a Jaden Hicks because Jaden Hicks can't play in the slot. They're not looking for a Cole Bishop because Cole Bishop can't play in the slot. They're looking for Javon Bullard. And when he's available at the end of round 2, my predictions were Marshawn Kneeland and Javon Bullard for day 2. Obviously, Kneeland goes a little bit later. Edgerrin Cooper was somebody that we've talked about on numerous occasions as a Packers type all day, every day. He was on my short list today. Both Javon Bullard and Jordan Morgan and Edgerrin Cooper, all 3 were in my top 25 players that were most likely to be Green Bay Packers in this draft. These are Packers-y type selections all day, every day. And with Javon Bullard, you are getting what Kirby Smart called, I think, a stick of dynamite. He is very similarly proportioned to Darnell Savage, height, weight, speed, all of it. His 4.4 40 speed pops off the tape. He is going to be somebody that can play in the slot. He's going to be somebody that can play in the box. He's going to be somebody that can play two high safety. He's going to be somebody that can play some post safety. One of the things that surprised me most was that his vertical testing and stuff didn't test through the roof. You see him multiple times on tape jump through the roof and go and high point the ball and pick off some passes. He is a playmaker. There is some a little volatility to his game, not all that dissimilar to Darnell Savage, but I think this is a more consistent player than what you had in Darnell Savage. And I think he is going to be fired up and motivated. And this is exactly why you have somebody like Xavier McKinney. Just like I talked about with Jaden Hicks when we talked about potential prospects to sort of come in and play with McKinney. McKinney is going to unlock all of those juicy skills that Javon Bullard possesses and is going to allow Javon Bullard to do what he does best. But not only that, you get that versatility, right? And Brian Gutekunst has talked about this week of like, hey, it's great that we have a Xavier McKinney. And again, I'm paraphrasing here very specifically, but it's great that you have a Xavier McKinney that can play that post safety. And if you want to get like a box safety, or if you're going to play Javon Bullard in the box, that's great, but you're predictable then. You don't want a quarterback going to the line of scrimmage, especially the really good ones, and saying, all right, I know that you're lining up both close to the line of scrimmage, but I know 90% of the time Xavier McKinney's the one that's going to be the post and Javon Bullard's going to be the guy, or if they would have taken somebody else that's a pure box safety, that he's going to be the guy that's going to be in the box. I don't want, like, as a quarterback, you don't, or as a defensive coordinator, you don't want that quarterback to know, all right, they're going to use that guy in the post every single time. You want him, like, imagine this on a play action play, right? Play action fake. You go and you read the defense ahead of time, and you're thinking McKinney's going to be in the post and Bullard's going to be in the box. And you go back, you fake the handoff, and you turn around and you get it, and all of a sudden Bullard's at the deep post and McKinney's screaming off it as a box safety or wherever you're not expecting him to be. That changes what your expectations are. And if you do enough of that, now the quarterback's not going to maybe get those preconceived notions, and he's going to say like, all right, I don't know what's going to happen. And now he's going to have to reread post snap or post play action fake of what's going on with the defense. You never want to be predictable. And having a guy like Javon Bullard allows you to be more unpredictable. Not to mention that, but what if you want to bring Keyshawn Nixon more off the slot as a blitzer, right? We saw him have some success as a blitzer off the slot. If you want to do that, you need somebody that can come down from the safety and cover that wide receiver that he is abandoning to go blitz the quarterback. Having somebody like a Javon Bullard to be able to come and do that and play a little bit on that wide receiver. I'm not saying you want to make a habit of playing Javon Bullard one-on-one with slot twitchy wide receivers. It's going to catch up with you at some point, but can he do it enough where you can do some of that stuff where you're bringing a Keyshawn Nixon off the edge? Absolutely. Does he give you the versatility where, hey, maybe if on day 2, in the 3rd round here, or day 3 of the draft, they find another safety that can also play alongside Xavier McKinney, does he give you some opportunity to maybe play a little bit more in the slot too, especially on some early downs? Yeah, he can do that as well. The versatility of Javon, the versatility is the name of the game, right? We talked about it defensive back. We talked about it on the offensive line. Bullard gives you that versatility at safety. Obviously, Jordan Morgan gives you it along the offensive line. Edgerrin Cooper, we're not talking about versatility of like they're going to be 2 off-ball linebackers, but it gives you the opportunity to use Quay and Edgerrin Cooper interchangeably. You want to spy one of them and blitz the other, you can do that. You want to drop both in coverage, you can do that. You want to blitz both in a double A-gap blitz, you can do that. And by the way, the 2 things that jump off the page with Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard, speed and explosiveness. With Javon Bullard, the number one thing I had in my scouting report, again, prior to the draft, when I watched him, was the 4.40 speed jumps off the tape. And with Edgerrin Cooper, one of the things that popped off was his explosive ability. All the sacks that he garnered. What's really impressive is we talk all the time with edge rushers of you have to have that explosive ability, that closing ability to get to the quarterback. He has it. He has it. If you get him on a blitz and he all of a sudden has the opportunity to get that quarterback, he has that closing speed to get to that quarterback and get him to the ground, evidenced by the 8 sacks he had from a season ago. These are 2 big-time draft picks. And you talk about what this defense has done in the offseason. And let's wait and see before we crown any more defenses in Green Bay. They need to put it on the field on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays, and I guess Fridays if you're playing in Brazil. We need to see this defense in action, but adding Jeff Hafley as your defensive coordinator, Xavier McKinney and Javon Bullard at safety, and Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker, that is going to pay massive dividends. They still need to get pressure up front. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, LVN, they're going to need to do their job on the edge. Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, TJ Slayton, Carl Brooks, and Colby Wooden, they're going to have to do their job on the interior. Quay needs to take a little bit of a jump. You have Jair that needs to get back to playing like Jair. Nixon's going to need to live up to that contract, and you need one of Eric Stokes or Carrington Valentine to really step up and own that position at outside corner opposite Jair. But you're going from a safety group that was Darnell Savage, Anthony Johnson Jr., Rudy Ford, and Jonathan Owens to one that is now Xavier McKinney and Javon Bullard. The upgrade there is not measurable in any form of human existence that is known to man. It is too wide of a gap to be able to be measured. And at linebacker, getting someone that is going to be able to come in for a Devondre Campbell, who, let's just be real, lost a step to a step and a half over the last couple of years and wasn't that explosive guy anymore. Edgerrin Cooper, filled with first step explosiveness, speed, intensity, all of it. And we look at some of the best defenses in the NFL right now, and what do they have? Those two linebackers that are flying all around the football field and dominating the middle of the field. Add on the fact that you're going to play more of a box safety, and that those two linebackers, Quay and Cooper, are now going to be teamed with either a Xavier McKinney or a Javon Bullard in the box. Your possibilities are endless. It's going to be tough for offenses to diagnose what they want to do, and these guys are going to be flying around to the football in every way imaginable. This is a home run day 2 of the draft. I know there's some disappointing, and obviously I don't know the third round yet. We'll get there later, but I should say a home run round 2 of the draft. I know some people upset about Cooper DeJean. I'll say it again. I do not think, even if DeJean was on the board, that they were going to take him there. Now, maybe they were because they traded down right after the DeJean pick gets made. So maybe they were going to, but getting Bullard, even if they were going to take DeJean, maybe they lose out on Edgerrin Cooper then, and maybe they have to take a different linebacker. I'll just say it personally. If the option was getting DeJean in with their first, second round pick, and then not being able to trade down and pick up those extra picks, and then missing out on Edgerrin Cooper on the other and having to go with a different linebacker, sign me up for this alternate reality. Give me the one that gets me Edgerrin Cooper, Javon Bullard, and a future fifth and sixth round draft pick in this draft as well, rather than the one that gets me DeJean and a linebacker that's not named Edgerrin Cooper. So I don't know that they would have taken Cooper anyway, even if they would have. In the off chance that you don't get Edgerrin Cooper on that other spot, I like this reality just perfectly and have no issues with them losing Cooper DeJean early in the draft, even if that was going to be the case, which I still sort of believe they may not have taken him at that spot. Ultra excited about the pick. Ultra excited about what has happened and transpired so far on round 2. Excited for round 3. We're going to get 2 more Packers picks, assuming they don't trade out. I will be back here to break down and give my immediate gut reaction as soon as those picks are done. And then, of course, we'll have a full deep dive breakdown, a breakdown of day 2 for tomorrow. And, of course, through the rest of this week, we will do deep dive reports on every single one of these picks that you are not going to want to miss. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. If you haven't checked out Pack-A-Day podcast memberships yet, make sure to do so. I'm going to go jump back on the live stream, get back with Maggie Loney and Andrew Murtig, who are killing it, I'm sure, in my absence. I will see you guys soon, but until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.